Thank you all very much for that warm welcome and for the chance to be here, to be back with the board. I say back with the board, but the board has been a strong presence in the election in ways that Carol mentioned as a co-sponsor for several debates and such. And I have to admit that as September the 10th approached, because Carol had become such a presence in the election overall, I really wondered whether we might be seeing her as one more of the many people who have decided to run for mayor, and I was very relieved when she decided not to throw her name into the ring and to file the papers as required up at City Hall. I want to thank everyone. As I said, it's a very great pleasure to have a chance to be back at the board. Nearly 1 year ago, this is where I kicked off my campaign to be Toronto's next mayor. My, how time flies when you're having fun. It was unofficial at that time, but I don't think I left too many doubters that day as to whether I would be running, nor as to how hard I would work to take the fight for this city forward and to help this city realize its full potential. To say that it's been an eventful year since would be a great understatement. We've had twists and turns and more than a few surprises, and more debates than any mental health practitioner would recommend. But even during the times of challenge, I've loved every minute of it. The reason why is simple. Campaigning every day, and most nights, as Christopher could attest, offers an opportunity to get to know this city, my city, even better. You have the chance to visit every corner of Toronto, to meet people who have come here from all parts of the world, to hear every language possible, to see the hard work and the huge spirit that makes Toronto so great. Campaigning for mayor has been a tremendous privilege. It's been exciting, it's been energizing, it's been a great test of perseverance, and it has been humbling. I learned that when you set out to change the city also changes you. The men standing on the corner of Keele and Eglinton with no prospects of work. The calls to our office of mothers being evicted. The way a poor neighborhood rallies around in response to a fire to help one another. The voices of youth fighting to be heard. These things have changed me, and I'm so grateful for it. And of course, no change can affect anyone more than becoming a parent. My motivations to make our city greater have a boy named Michael as their energy source. It's for him that I want to build a city that builds on our strengths, not divides, a Toronto that celebrates our rich diversity. It's for the people that I've met all year long in every corner of our city who have told me in no uncertain terms that they want to stop the waste at City Hall and get it focused on serving them better. That's why my balanced budget plan calls for a tax freeze and a hiring freeze next year. My plan gets Toronto moving again and creates good jobs right here. This past year has left me more convinced than ever and more determined than ever to win the election on October 25th, to earn the support and the confidence of hard-working Torontonians so that together we can build the Toronto that we want. I see that Sarah Thompson is here. She's been and become such an incredible partner in this campaign. She put her own city ahead of her own ambitions. I see former mayor and current Senator Art Eggleton, Toronto's longest-serving mayor, who led Toronto when we were the engine of the Canadian economy. I aspire to lead us back to that. And I have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from business and from labor, from the arts community, environmentalists, people of all colors, from all corners, and of all kinds. A year ago I came here and I posed the question, what kind of a city do we want to be? Today I have an answer. One that I forge with the friendship and the support of Torontonians. One that speaks to the policies I've presented, the positions I have taken, and the choices I've made. I want to use the next few minutes to summarize and shape what I have said over the past year about the kind of mayor I want to be and the kind of agenda I plan to set. I think it's important to detail that plan because, as you all know, voters now face a stark choice on Election Day. They can choose the way of Rob Ford or our way. They can choose solutions that don't stand the test of scrutiny, or a detailed plan that does. They can choose anger, or they can choose action, protest, or progress. I don't want to spend my time today talking about my opponent. His approach speaks for itself. I believe his weaknesses and his strengths are well recognized. Instead, I want to focus on what it means to choose George Smitherman, to choose the kind of change at City Hall that will get our city moving again, figuratively and literally, to choose an approach that offers fiscal accountability, priorities that make sense, a war on waste, a practical plan for transit, and above all else, a commitment to lift Toronto's prospects by building on our greatest strength, our people, all of Toronto's people. Over the course of this campaign, I have laid out what I believe is the best plan for our city, fueled by a sense of optimism and the belief that Toronto's best days lie yet ahead. In May, I laid out a comprehensive transportation plan for this city, an integrated transportation plan that rejects solutions that are for one mode at the expense of another. It's a plan to get Toronto moving again and to get frustrated commuters home to their families faster. My plan includes realistic investments that build on Transit City's plan for light rail, plus expansions to our subway system in North York, in Scarborough, and in Etobicoke. It knits Toronto together like never before, and uses new transit investment as the key to driving economic growth, opportunity, and revitalization in the areas of Toronto that need it most, our inner suburbs. And my plan comes in two phases because nobody who aspires to lead can misunderstand their obligation to deliver a Toronto renewed in time for the 2015 Pan Am Games. I will make the TTC cleaner and more accessible, and I will put an end to the ridiculous idea of a shiny new headquarters and a transit museum. It's time to get the TTC priorities right because the riders have spoken. My transportation plan also includes free transit for seniors from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on weekdays, and includes tangible measures, including real penalties and around-the-clock construction to speed up road repairs and make travel safer for pedestrians and cyclists. I think we all know that we don't need to look any further than the construction at Jameson on the Gardiner to see why we need to begin measuring days of disruption on our roads and take action to get construction done faster. How many people have you seen working on the Jameson Bridge when you crawl by in traffic at 6 p.m.? In June, I unveiled my plans to make our core municipal services better, to save lives by getting EMS and fire services to your home more quickly, to think about how we deal with our garbage, to improve our parks, to expand recreation services, and to make sure that every child in this city learns to swim by the end of grade 5. Over the summer, I unveiled my plan to improve customer service, called Pronto, so that we completely changed the attitude at City Hall. We unveiled our plans to integrate Ontario Place and Exhibition Place, and to rebuild Toronto's status as a great city on a great lake by investing in our beaches and our waterfront. We unveiled a winning strategy for the arts, increasing funding to $25 per person, and restoring the Mayor's Arts Ball and funding for arts programs for at-risk youth. And I'm very pleased to say that I was given the highest marks by Arts Vote, an A+. My energy and environmental pledges were recognized by the Toronto Environmental Alliance with their highest grade, an A. And I pledge today that if I'm elected, we will paint Toronto with green jobs. Last month, I released my balanced budget blueprint and committed to a 1-year tax freeze, hiring freeze, and a 100-day spending freeze while I lead a transparent line-by-line review of the budget.